It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Hey, everybody. It's a little wet out there, huh? Thanks for being with us. Do it live here on the Patrick Johnson Show. I've only been in the building, 15 hours? What's another hour? Philip the Ref Pilkington producing today's show. He's with us here wearing, that's a sweet T-shirt there, USA. Look at you.
Appreciate it.
Looking like, I think you went with a schmedium to try to make you look like you got pecs, is what I think.
Yeah, I've had this shirt for a while.
Oh, you have? Okay.
6 or 8 Olympics ago. I just I got
6
more of a
or 8
beard.
Olympics ago would have been like the 1980 Olympics.
Okay.
You weren't even born then.
They have them every 2 years, but,
Well, the
yeah.
Winter Games.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so I've definitely put on some weight since I bought the shirt, which I found out yesterday. So, a lot of people tell you about stuff about getting old and fat.
Yeah.
Well, I had to
you're
fill
hitting
in.
close to home.
Yeah.
You're hitting close to home.
So I had to fill in for a friend's softball team last night. There was a ball in the gap, and I went to dive for it. And, when I hit, my body just stopped. I didn't keep sliding. And because of my gut, my head kind of snapped forward. My
Right.
hat fell off. And I was like, well, darn, this athletic, I knew I wasn't going to get around the bases as quick as I used to.
Sure.
I knew all that, but I didn't know the diving was going to hurt. I used to fall on the ground,
Yeah.
no problem.
Too many
Tackled every
12-ounce
day.
curls, Pilk. Too many
Yeah.
12-ounce curls.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Speaking of weight, what a segue. You are invited to the summer special East Carolina Weight Loss Open House. It's a week from today, August 13th, 5 to 7. You can meet Dr. Keene and his great team. Our own John Moore from the Sock Hop on 107.9 WNCT is going to be there. Other local broadcast personalities from around the market. I may sneak in there for a little bit, around 6 o'clock. Life-changing program. It's changed my life for sure. Save money, too. You get $500 off their most popular program during the event. There'll be food, fun, and door prizes. Go to eastcarolinaweightloss.com, and you can register for this free, no-obligation event. That's eastcarolinaweightloss.com. So wanted to remind the folks of that coming up here. We have Mike Houston comments in just a moment as the Pirates practice today. The Little League Softball World Series is going on, but they are midway through their day, and they are in a indefinite weather holding pattern. Speaking of the Little League Softball World Series, our friend Jenny Dalton-Hill worked with Jenny calling softball games for ESPN Plus. Great lady. Really just one of the most down-to-earth people. Great on the air. And, Pilk, would you talk about, she's a national champion, an All-American, and we'll get into her numbers when she's on just to embarrass her a little because she's very humble. They are superb numbers. They're amazing numbers. And she does a wonderful job on softball. She's so good. I joke about this, but there's some truth in it. We get on these conference calls before we do games. And when we're doing a series that I'm on, that Jenny's on linear television, and I'm on, in this case, what would be like the ESPN Plus platform or the ACC Network Extra platform, they kind of get the first crack at questions of the coaches. And I'll take so then if Jenny's on the call, I'm scribbling down all of the answers because her questions are so good. And, you do that anyway. But listening to Jenny is how I, now when I'm on a call with Winkler or somebody in the AAC or, the Duke coach and the UNC coach or something like that. You ask – in other words, listening to her has broadened my horizons on, just preparation.
Hey, if you want to be a smart person, you got to surround yourself with smart people. And I think we all know a little bit more about football that we've probably all learned in the last 365 days hanging out with Joey Football.
Sure.
And it sounds like you're doing the same thing over there in softball. And I know you do it every basketball game with Cy as well.
He's the best. He really is. So that is what's going on there. We'll talk to Jenny Dalton-Hill. She's got her 2 games in today. The team from Rowan County. Is that how that's pronounced, Pill?
Hey, you got it right this time. You said I don't remember what you said.
Rowan County, yeah.
Yeah, but no, the last time.
I always say Rowan. Don't give me a hard time there, Piedmonter.
No, you messed it up.
Rowan
Yeah.
knocked off Idaho. The Fighting Potatoes, 9-0.
I was about to say, they played baseball and softball in Idaho.
They underhand softball.
Yeah, I thought they just, like they played football on a blue field and that was about it.
Yeah. Mid-Atlantic knocked off Italy and eliminated them 2-1. So Idaho and Italy are no longer. Right now, they're waiting to get Game 3 going with this weather. And Canada and Mexico and Arizona, Philippines. Let me look. I'm going to pull a Henry Hinton and look at my phone live on the air. Search for my weather app. They may, in a few hours, in a couple, 2-3 hours, they may get a window to get Game 3 in. May. They are not getting in 2 games tonight. Just ain't happening.
Well, we do know that baseball/softball in Greenville can last till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, we do.
We've been there.
Well,
I've been in my car at 2:58 after a baseball game. Just saying.
I don't think Little League is willing to start this thing past a certain point, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
If they don't, they're going to be here till next Wednesday.
Well, that's true.
They better.
That's true. And so I think the feeling is, and I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth with Little League, but I think they feel like, hey, if we could get one in, we're in really good shape for tomorrow. But, the forecast continues to call for more of the same. So we'll see. So that's where we are as far as the weather goes and Tropical Storm Debbie. You want to play some cuts from Mike Houston today? Let's do that. This is our Pirate Report for today. This is Mike Houston on what the team did on the first day of full contact.
All right, probably your second favorite day of the preseason is first day of full contact. And I don't think the kids disappointed either side of the ball. I thought we had good work today. We had 3 live periods. We had one to start the day that you guys got to see, and then we had inside run, middle practice, and then we finished with a live red zone, put the ball down to 20 and play it out. Our team portion of the day was game regulation up and down the field, move the ball. So it was a lot of work today, but I thought we really competed well across the board and got some good stuff on film. So, really good stuff to coach from this afternoon.
Yep, we'll see. And Coach says both sides of the ball preparing the other for the majority of the schedule.
I told the defensive kids I expect us to be better this year than we were last year. We've got too much experience coming back. And I think that, just like we talked out there on the field, I was really pleased with our offensive front practice today. And, you got a defense coming back up front with what we have coming back. It's the iron sharpened iron deal that we talked about. It's just, you're going to make each other better. But certainly it's great for our offense to practice against, all the stuff our defense does. And it's great for our defense to practice against the offense with all the different stuff that they're going to see. We really should be really well prepared for the vast majority of our schedule. Now, the Army, Navies, and Liberties are a little bit different. But the rest of them are pretty much similar offenses.
And speaking of which, how has the defense handled this new up-tempo look from the ECU offense?
It gets them. I mean, we're going to be in shape, that's for sure. We're pretty good for the first several plays, and then, that pace, wears on you, especially if the offense is able to convert and get first downs and really keep the chains moving. But that's good for us defensively. And I really look forward to seeing it in Daddy Ficklin Stadium on the 31st.
There you go, Mike Houston on the year 2 guys that have stepped up.
Computer is whacking out again. We're having technology issues. I apologize. Computer's been wacky.
Well, that was the challenge we issued the other night was they need to make a jump. If you're a second-year guy, you need to be on special teams. You need to be in the depth. You need to be competing for playing time. If you're not, then there's an issue there. And so, we have some that are, some that, need to come on along. But, you're going to see some young guys play for us this year, and that's good because, we do have a large number of seniors that are going to graduate, and we got to have guys ready for, who's next up.
All right, I'm going to guess this was asked by somebody who the most competitive thing they've ever done is put their tighty-whities on in the morning.
Shots fired.
Coach was asked about the trash talk on the first day of full pads. All right, I didn't play football at anything approaching a high level. We've litigated that yesterday, right? Trash talk. Okay, play it.
Oh, it's there. I mean, we talked a lot about just. I love the competition. Okay, we got to keep it in check, though. We can't have silliness that takes away from practice, and so there's a line that we got to be able to play with in practice and on game day. And so for us, we don't want to practice anything that we're not going to be able to do on game day. So I got no problem with them going at each other, but I want to keep it make sure we keep it appropriate.
Pilk, unless you were playing with an all-world guy, the guy that was out there talking trash on the day you start hitting, well, first of all, the guy that might have been running his mouth when you were in shells, I'm not saying this is the case out there. I'm speaking generally here. Generally was not going to talk trash when you started hitting in practice.
No. That was the guy who could run by everybody and
right.
probably should doing a lot of trash talk in the 100-meter dash.
But that is also the person that did not want to get hit.
That's true.
And
I remember too, first day of hitting, was there a little trash talk? Yeah, but it wasn't really one-on-one. It was, so you started out hitting and everybody was just amped up. They were just excited. They were more hyping themselves up. Then once that got done, the defense would trash talk the offense and vice versa, but it was more you guys, not a you. And it was more of a whole.
So that had to be asked by somebody who sits around in their underwear and does media. Has to be.
I don't remember who asked it. Wasn't me. Wasn't I go.
Nobody
that works
I know
here.
I go wouldn't have asked that.
Yeah, nobody that works here.
And I know you wouldn't have asked that.
Yeah.
Back to the Pirate Report. What has impressed him the most about the quarterbacks?
Probably the number one thing is their accuracy. Number two is probably decision making. I think those are two pretty important qualities for a quarterback. I thought Caton had his best day of the fall camp yesterday. He really, really played well. Today, I need to look at the film, but, Jake was with the ones today. Certainly did some good stuff. But, we threw a lot more at him today, especially during the live periods. Now all of a sudden it's not tag, it's not thud. It's tackle to the ground, and so that changes the way people operate sometimes.
Yep, and that's kind of the point you and I were making. Rite of passage are the just bizarre questions that are asked by some. And Pilk's Mama King of the English language when you have these lists.
Yeah, well,
The modality of the quarterbacks.
You always talked about how bad you were at math. That's why we're a good team. We complete each other. You're good at English. And,
Isn't Modell a beer?
Oh, don't give me that. It's 5 o'clock. Let's do it. Come on. Leave the studio. You guys get dead air for the next 47 minutes. Patrick and I are going to drink a Modelo.
Might be
the
Modelo,
highest selling beer in the United States now that Bud Light went broke.
That they did. And Modelo. Is it good? I've never had a Modelo. I haven't drank in a long time.
I love Modelo.
Okay. Might have to try one. The mobility of the quarterbacks.
They have the ability to do things with their legs. Now, neither one of them you would label as a running quarterback. But when the play's there, they're able to make it, and both of them have done that. Jake had a real nice play inside the 10 today, scrambling. Caton had a zone read the other day, went for about 30 yards. So, when the play's there, they can make it with their legs, and they can also extend plays, which I think that's, vitally important. In today's college football, with all the, multiple defenses you see and all the pressure you see, the ability to improvise when the play breaks down is very, very important.
All right, some good questions here. One was about the progress of the offensive line at this point.
Very pleased. I'm very, very pleased with the offensive line right now. You got guys with experience. That's huge. I think that Matt and the other guys working with the offensive line have done a great job with that group. And it's just like, when we went in that little goal line period to start, you had a group that felt confident, going out there against our defense. You went to inside run, and you didn't have all the negative plays that we typically have, with inside run. You had an offense that can challenge the defense. And it's just, I'm pleased with where we're at right now. We're not the finished product, but it is night and day from where we were last year.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about it, Pilk. Quarterback play left a hell of a lot to be desired last year. Let's not kid ourselves. You made a great point the other day on the show. Might have been yesterday. The receivers at times didn't do a whole lot to help the quarterbacks out at times last year. But that offensive line, last year, the play was just not up to snuff.
Yeah, my grandma could have had a few sacks last year.
Is that the one that was, you went, God rest her soul? I mean, she was a tough old bird, so probably so,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Hey, 94.
Wow. Mike Houston on the physicality of the tight ends and the receivers and how they're blocking.
Well, they know they've got to. You know, there's so much competition in that room right now. You know, if they don't do a great job blocking, they won't be on the field. And I can say the same thing about the receivers. You know, our ability to block on the perimeter is drastically improved. But the competition level is so high in those two rooms. I mean, there's only so many snaps on the field, and I feel like we have great depth. And so they're really pushing each other. And I'm pleased with how, you know, that aspect is coming along.
And Coach Houston elaborated on that depth at receiver.
Well, I think you have some guys that continue to show up every day. Winston Wright, Anthony Smith, we talked about them the other day. I think Brock Spalding is showing up in a lot of different ways. Jerry Patterson, you know, missed a few days early in camp with a non-football injury from late in the summer, but you know he's come back this week and has had some electric plays. Yannick Smith, for a freshman, you know, he's showing up. So you have a lot of guys that are showing up in that room. Chase is going to miss a couple of days, so he wasn't out there today. But you know, you had somebody to step right in there and take those reps. So glad to have those guys, because that, you know, that is really what's going to make the offense go. You know, we know that the back's going to be able to run the football. I thought Rajay did a great job today running the football behind the offensive line, but those receivers are really what's going to make this offense go.
All right, Pirate Report for today. Mike Houston's comments. 5:17 here on this Tuesday. Drive home, make it a safe one as you're out there with a lot of rain. How that's impacting things with the Little League Softball World Series and more. Jenny Dalton-Hill from ESPN, college softball analyst and one of the analysts for the Little League World Series being played here in Greenville, will join us coming up.
Summer savings event is on at Greenville Toyota.
Enjoy your summer in a new Corolla for just $219 a month, or a Highlander for only $399 a month. Got a trade? Get cash for it on the spot, or trade for a new Toyota
At Greenville Toyota.
Pirate game days, there's nothing like them. The atmosphere, the tradition, the matchups, the magical finishes. Be a part of Pirate Game Days. Season tickets are as low as $115. Reserve your seat today to be a part of the experience of Pirate Game Days at Dowdy Ficklin Stadium this fall.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Dum-dum-dum. Get low, get low, get low. 369, ooh, she fine. Hoping she can sing it to me one more time. Get low, get low, get low, get low.
Pepsi Wild Cherry, and get wild.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Get to Greenville Toyota for summer savings.
Lease new RAV4s, $319 a month. Test drive the redesigned 2025 Camry. In stock and ready for delivery. All with our advantage.
At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
We are. Riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
They're saying rain, go away. Don't think it's going to. At least not for a little bit. But our next guest is probably one of the luckiest people on the planet because she got both her games in today at the Little League Softball World Series. Jenny Dalton-Hill, ESPN softball analyst, back with us on the Patrick Johnson Show. One of the great people, really. Tremendous player. Does a wonderful job on air, but is also just one of the great people. And Jenny, I hope you're well.
I am doing fabulous, and you're right. I'm going to say I'm living right because getting those games in today was going to be a pretty tall task, but we were able to pull it off.
Now, I have to give you some grief. You know, in the past, I've usually been at the beach this week, kind of a last hurrah of summer. Here I am in Greenville in our studios, and you are maybe a mile or two from here, and you're phoning it in. You're like me on a daily basis where I phone it in to the radio show. You are actually phoning it in, though.
I am. Hey, but at least I'm doing it, right? I mean, you can't always have what you want, but maybe we can pick up dinner before I leave town.
Pilk, did I not say, all right, let's make sure everything's tidied up around the studio for Jenny? She's a world-class softball player, world-class analyst, and a great person. And so let's make sure we got cold water and room temperature water. Did I not say all this, Pilk?
You did. I was like rubber gloves scrubbing the floor on my hands and knees. We washed the windows. We vacuumed.
And Jenny is in her palatial president's suite at the hotel instead of.
I am. I did not realize that. No more than anything, sometimes we all just need a reason to clean up. So you're welcome. That is what you should be saying.
All right. Well, it's good to have you on. You're one of even though we had worked together briefly, I felt we were good buddies, and we have. You know what I do, Pilk, during softball calls for games that I know Jenny's on in the series too? I just listen to what Jenny asks, and it's like copying notes like I did in school, and that's all I say on my broadcast is everything Jenny says.
So he's still cheating.
Oh, still cheating.
But hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
Now, careful. Jenny has connections to the SEC, so we don't want to. Let's be careful.
That was the NASCAR fan in me coming out, and if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
We've given Jenny such a hard time. I'm surprised we've not heard a dial tone yet on the other side.
I wonder why I didn't come into the studio. It's hard to understand why.
Well, we had a fruit tray. We had various cheeses and crackers. I know. So Jenny Dalton-Hill, ESPN and ESPN Plus for the Little League Softball World Series. Of course, the finals are scheduled to be on ABC Sunday. Jenny is working this event for yet another year in Greenville. It was extended in Greenville, and the weather notwithstanding, it seems like that Little League is very pleased with Elm Street Park and the setup here, and I think the event has gotten better every year it's been here in Greenville.
Well, I tell you what, this is the best talent I've seen at the Little League World Series in this age group. They are so talented this year, and the games, sometimes you have those one-offs where, you know, a team comes in that has a smaller Little League and has just been able to squeak through and make it to the World Series because their region has been weak. Not this year. You are seeing the talent completely elevated this season, and I am so impressed with just the way that these young girls carry themselves, their maturity in the tough situations, and the coaching staff that, while they know they're mic'd, right? Like they know that they mean things to the kids while they're in anything. The amount of positivity that they're giving and the hard lessons that you learn in battle. You know, you might be down, you might have the strikeout, whatever it is. The amount of quality information that these coaches is giving is next level. I mean, these are moms and dads. These are not high-paid Division I softball coaches, and yet they've all impressed me with the tone that they speak with, and also the things that they are doing to prepare their athletes to play.
Jenny Dalton-Hill with us here on the Patrick Johnson Show. It's great to have Jenny with us here, and she's involved with coverage for ESPN with the Little League Softball World Series taking place here in Greenville. They got the first 2 games in today in a holding pattern now for the rest of the day, and we'll see how it plays out. A couple teams eliminated earlier. Idaho dropped by Rowan in North Carolina, or out of North Carolina, 9-zip, and Mid-Atlantic, the team out of Pennsylvania, 2-1 over Italy in a good one, and Idaho and Italy, as I understand it, are bounced. And we're just waiting to see if Canada and Mexico and Arizona and the Philippines will play. You talk about the talent, Jenny, just on a global sense. Do you feel like that Little League softball as a whole is evolving with the game?
When it comes to Little League softball, I like the fact that they've changed their rules in the last couple of years for a continuous lineup, meaning every player on your roster hits. So most teams have between 12 and 14 players. I think 14 is your cap. But when it comes to where we normally think of having 9 batters and then you've got some subs on the bench, the old rules required you to play so many innings in the field defensively and have at least 1 at bat. That gets really hard to track. And as a coach trying to navigate, issues on the field or gameplay or speed of game, whatever it is, it gets a lot to navigate. So I love the fact that Little League has simplified it and just said, you know what? Everybody hits. So you hit your full roster and then flip back over to the top once everybody's hit. And that also opens up free substitutions to be able to put people in defensively, move people around without having to keep a ton of paperwork and make sure that you've gotten, people in the game. They get their allotted number of defensive innings. And so because it's a lot more streamlined, I love the fact that you're seeing more participation. Not only are you seeing more participation, but you're seeing more opportunities to play. And with that, it's elevating the level of play at a much younger age. I love the competitiveness that these young athletes are showing. I mean, they're getting hit by pitches and they're just wearing it and jogging down to first base. You're seeing balls get hit off the pitcher on a comebacker, and she looks at the coach, right in the face, no tears, and says, "I'm fine, let's go." And to me, that fires me up more than anything else, just how strong, how tough they are, and how their softball IQ is so much higher than I think mine was at their age.
And then I would think with that, the talent is probably, as you've alluded to in this event, but I mean, on the whole, do you feel like that the talent is getting better and better, game-wide? These are obviously the elite teams playing very well. It's one of those years where you have, it seems like, the best of the best here. From what you can gather, looking at the regionals and leading up to that, is this a situation where the play on the field is evolving in the right direction as well?
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's not that the athletes are more talented. I think we've always seen very athletic, very talented young females coming in to play this World Series. What you're seeing, though, is their softball IQ is so elevated because they've had opportunities at younger ages to be able to navigate those tough situations. They don't have to wait for someone to tell them what to do. Their instincts now are part of the game. So they take a hard turnaround second base and advance without a coach having to tell them on a bobbled play. Or they've got dirt ball reads going from first to second. That fires me up more than anything, because if you have to wait for someone to tell you what to do, it's often too late to execute. But if you all of a sudden start feeling the heartbeat of the game and understanding what it is you have to do to be successful, you don't need someone to give you permission to advance or permission to swing in a certain count. You just are able to be athletic and let those skills take over in the heat of the battle.
Jenny Dalton-Hill, ESPN softball analyst, is with us here. You've seen the Pitt County team in this event. They've had 2 really great games. What are your impressions of last year's runner-up that seems to be back this year with a bit of a chip on their shoulder and something to prove?
Yeah, sometimes a good team with a chip on their shoulder is a really dangerous team to play, because they've now spent the last entire year since their exit from the World Series thinking about getting back to this moment. So while they may put a ton of pressure on themselves, this is a team that has practiced with intent for an entire year, looking for this moment to be able to rebound and come back from a very disappointing exit out of the World Series last season. And watching them play right now, they are the team to beat.
Wow. How about that? Pretty impressive stuff there, and a heady compliment indeed from Jenny Dalton-Hill. What about their team, Jenny, outside of that aforementioned something to play for, is, what do they do maybe that makes them a little bit of a head and shoulders, at least at this point, ahead of everyone else?
Well, and I think it's hard to say head and shoulders ahead because it's still early in the tournament. They've only got 2 under their belt, but with those 2 wins starting off, they now have a 2-day bye while the elimination bracket plays out, and so they will be completely rested once they head into the next round of games for them. And then to add to that, it's the same exact coach, the head coach, coming back with them. And with that, it's hard to navigate a new situation in pressure-filled moments in a new location, right? Well, number one, they're the host team this year. Number two, they are able to step into this knowing what to expect because they were here a year ago. Granted, there's a couple new faces on the team, right? Because some age out and some have to then take their spot on the other side. But when you step into a familiar place and you're competitive and you've been training for a specific purpose, all of a sudden the job doesn't seem so overwhelming. I mean, coming into the World Series, you usually have to, stay in dorms and you don't go with your parents very often. And that can be overwhelming for some head coaches who aren't used to having, 13, 14, 10 to 13-year-old girls who love to TikTok and sing random songs and have tons of energy. But when you've been here before, you're able to prepare for what it's going to be like in the dorms rather than have it hit you in the face and be very reactive. So you can be proactive, come in with ideas, and be a little bit more prepared for what you're stepping into.
National champion in softball, Jenny Dalton-Hill, Women's College World Series. Was it one or how many world championships did you win, Jenny?
So I have 3 national championships.
3.
There's National Player of the Year in 1996.
Okay. Pilk, I'm going to read you some stats here. You ready?
Ready.
Yep.
Settle down. Nobody likes a bragger, Dalton-Hill. All right, Pilk, I got some stats for you. 4 years of college, okay? 76.
Hey, that's probably less than you were in college back.
Well, yes. My stats had to do with empties. 76 home runs, 328 RBI, 51 doubles, 52 stolen bases, batting average of .411. That is the career of Jenny Dalton-Hill playing softball.
And that's why back then it was called the Conference of Champions.
Yes.
No longer to be.
Yeah,
at the University of Arizona.
It's not even a conference.
Yeah. Well, let's
we have no Pac-12.
Let's go there. We're in a kind of a crazy new world. Jenny's husband is at the University of Kentucky as a member of that athletic administration. Jenny's been around this for many, many moons and is always thoughtful with things. I'm setting you up now, Jenny. I'm setting you up now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm just saying you're seasoned. How about that? You're not that much older than I am, so I'm going to say you're seasoned. But, that's got to be who'd have thought 2 or 3 years ago that the Pac-12 wouldn't exist? And, we're here in ACC country, and there's a lot of consternation over what may or may not happen in a few years with the ACC. A lot of litigation. A lot of lawyers are getting pretty well funded through this whole process. So, are we starting to take a turn that we're going to look back and say, gosh, I wish we didn't take it?
I think we've already had that turn happen. And when it started was when we started allowing NIL. And NIL is not what everybody is using it as. NIL should be giving athletes the opportunity to make appearances, give lessons, use their name, image, and likeness to endorse products, to be able to fund themselves in a way by giving to an entity, a product, and endorse something and so be paid for work, whether it's using your name, image, and likeness or going out and doing appearances, whatever it is. That is name, image, and likeness. What we are calling name, image, and likeness is not what is going on.
Right.
We're in the middle of pay for play. And so when you're calling recruits saying, hey, we've got $1 million if you'll come to the University of so-and-so, then that's not NIL. They've done nothing for that other than show up. And to me, that's not the purpose of what we're asking our athletes to do, nor is that what we should be asking our donors to support that. Now, everybody wants to win. So everybody's trying to put their hand in the cookie jar. But what's going to happen is if we continue down this road, the problem is the people that are funding the NIL and the collective are also the same people funding athletic departments. And those pockets, while they are deep, they're not deep enough to do both. And so what's going to happen is you're going to see the implosion of collegiate athletics as it is. You're going to see opportunities that are going to have to be less with some of the other rulings that are coming down from the courts that are going to spread athletic departments extremely thin. And with those lost opportunities, you're going to see Olympic sports going away because there's not going to be enough money to go around to not only fund NIL collectives that will pay athletes, but also to give money to give scholarships and get athletes on campus and also pay the bills to be able to fly them around the country and pay coaches. And like right now we are in a precarious situation where I see we are at a tipping point where sports is not going to look the same in the next 5 years if we do not make some major changes in a different direction. The
irony is when I read your stats off there, you'd have got paid handsomely.
But
I mean, you would have.
But to that point, I played softball, and we just saw and a softball program. There is not one softball program in the country that pays for itself. And so that's not to say that these athletes don't deserve to get paid.
Right.
But when we see a transfer of $1 million to a softball athlete, I'm not saying she's not worth it. I think Nigeri Kennedy is an amazing human being. She was softball player of the year, national player of the year, and deserves to be able to be compensated for her accolades and her prowess. But $1 million for a softball player to a sport that doesn't make money, that's very, very difficult to swallow. I am not saying that she shouldn't get that money, but where is it coming from?
Right, yeah, exactly.
We're not able to fund athletic departments on wishes and dreams. There has to be money exchanged to be able to put them on and build them facilities and let them wear uniforms.
And you know this as well as anybody. There are people even in an SEC or a big, well, maybe not so much the Big Ten. There's probably a couple. There's some places in the, autonomous four right now that might not be in that upper group when it gets to that. In other words, just what you're saying, there's schools that we consider brand names in the brand name conference that they can't afford to do this too much longer.
I'm going to say there is not one school that can do this for an extended period of time. There are some that will be able to outlast the others because pockets are deeper. However, for an extended period of time, the money is going to run out. And there's no harm in saying that, because if we don't start addressing it now, then we may not even have collegiate athletics, because it's going to get to a place where we can't come back from it.
Yeah. With that said, Oklahoma, another national championship in college softball. They're now going to the SEC with Texas, who was number one for a lot of the year. You have a lot of those teams from the West Coast where you competed, now in the Big Ten. How do you see this brave new world as far as where these softball programs fit in to their new leagues?
Well, I am not naive to the fact that I am not in SEC country. And so I will try to paint the picture that is real. But if you don't think the SEC was a massive conference before, they've now just added two powerhouses with a ton of money into their conference. And if there's a place that you want to work, it's probably at an SEC school, because those are the ones that are going to be funded to a place where you can keep your job. If you're at a mid-major right now, you're nervous. If you're at a lower school in a Power 5 conference outside the SEC, you're also nervous, because the job security you have right now is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's scary for sports like golf, swimming, tennis. I mean, those are amazing athletes, amazing opportunities that I'm afraid are going to be lost if we don't make some major changes. And the addition of Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC and all the ripple effect that is created by the implosion of the Pac-12, the realignment of UCLA and USC joining the Big Ten. What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was looking at the football schedule the other day. They've got USC playing at Rutgers in like November.
Yeah.
Those kids have maybe never seen snow fall from the sky, let alone have to play in temperatures like that. So I'm worried about the integrity of the athlete experience, because time lost on the road. Football is one thing where you play once a week,
right,
and you maybe travel on a Thursday evening and you're home Saturday after the game on a charter flight. Look at the baseball and softballs around the country that are going to have to be playing. I mean, what in the world? You've got Stanford playing in the ACC.
Yeah.
And to have to drive, or not drive, but fly all
yeah, there's no driving.
I'm not driving that for sure. I had to drive to Charlotte to get to Greenville because of all the craziness of the weather. But Stanford is a demanding academic experience outside of playing a sport. Now you're telling me you've got midweeks, you've got weekend games, you've got tournaments, and you've got to do school across the country on the East Coast.
And at Stanford, you got to do school. It's like when I've called some MTEs in the past and the Ivies were in it. They were doing schoolwork.
Yeah, I did schoolwork, but it was not Stanford schoolwork. That's for sure. But that to me is disheartening, because those schools, while trying to save their athletic departments, have put their athletes in a very tough spot, especially those sports that play multiple games a week. They're going to have to really struggle, or they may really struggle to keep academics at the forefront of those athletes when they are missing so much class and so much time away from their books.
See, if you'd been in studio, we could have just done the whole hour with you, but okay.
I would, but to your point, you're welcome. It's now very clean.
Yeah, well, you're the best, and you got some great.
And I may have stretched the truth to make you feel bad.
Yeah, he didn't. So. He didn't clean up that much. Trust me.
The best part is I didn't believe you anyway.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Jenny Dalton-Hill, one of the best catcher during the course of this week. How many more games do you have scheduled in the Little League World Series?
Well, I've got 2 more scheduled. Tomorrow morning, we're supposed to play at 10 and 1. However, I don't know how optimistic I am for that with the way that Hurricane Debbie's coming through. So Hurricane Debbie is not just a hurricane. She's a Debbie Downer for sure.
Debbie Downer for sure. You're never a downer, though. Jenny Dalton-Hill, one of the very best. Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great night, guys. Now let's get this rain out of here.
Let's get it out of here. All right, back with more of the PJ Show right after these words.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Summer is here, and Sawyer's Fun Park is having a toddler summer special. From 10 a.m. to 12 noon, Monday through Friday, Sawyer's has a $10 2-hour unlimited pass for ages 2 to 4. That's one toddler and one parent for just $10 every weekday morning. Sawyer's Fun Park summer hours are Monday through Thursday from 10 to 8, Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 9, and Sundays from 12 to 8. Book your tickets online at SawyersFunPark.com and beat the heat this summer at Sawyer's Fun Park.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Philip Pilkington here with your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We will start in Pirate News, where Pirate running back Rajay Harris was named to the Doak Walker Award watch list earlier today. Also, ECU Volleyball announced that Fiona Cunningham will be one of the new assistant volleyball coaches. Cunningham played at UNC Asheville before getting into high school coaching. Last year, she spent time with the NC Central program as an assistant. Going over to high school athletics, the preseason polls were announced. High school football coaches and athletic directors. Big Carolina 3A, 4A conference came together on Monday for their annual preseason meeting. The coaches poll was voted that Havelock was tabbed to be the favorite to win the league. The Rams opened this season series on August the 23rd against Wallace Rose Hill. Looking over at the Olympics, the U.S. got a pair of gold medals on the track today. To no surprise, Gabby Thomas brought home the women's 200-meter dash gold, but in a very surprising fashion, Cole Hocker won the men's 1,500-meter run as he came from behind in the last 100 meters. That lifts the U.S. ahead of China now with 24 gold medals to China's 22, and the U.S. total medal count is currently at 86 to China's 59, who is also second in the overall medal count. Looking elsewhere in the Olympics today in team sports, the women's soccer team have made it to the gold medal match as they defeated Germany 1-0 in extra time thanks to a goal from Sophia Smith. This is the second straight game in which the U.S. team has won 1-0 in extra time. The gold medal match will be at 11 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. The men's basketball team is into the semifinals after defeating Brazil today by a score of 122-87. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. We're going to take our final time out here on the Patrick Johnson Show, and we'll be back to wrap it up right after this.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, take your shoes, take your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
A couple of things here as we wrap things up. The NCAA releasing its proposal for women's basketball March Madness units, prize money for prowess in the tournament, similar to the longstanding men's system. The pot starts at $15 million for 24-25, increases to $25 million by 27-28. Distribution formula same as the men's. Be a good thing. Be a good thing, potentially.
Yeah, like we were just talking about with Jenny. The university's got to bring in money somehow if they're going to keep paying all these
How great was
athletes.
Jenny, by the way?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was good to have that. I was, so intrigued by the Softball World Series right now. It was good to hear about that. Somebody who's been there, somebody's been calling the games. But then it was good to kind of get the former athlete perspective on all the craziness.
And her husband, like I said, is in the athletic administration at Kentucky. An associate AD, assistant AD there, however you want to put it. So, I don't have the story in front of me, Pilk, so help me with this a little bit. But I wanted to play this audio really since I saw it over the weekend. And then we listened to the audio, and we can't quite play all of it. But Cam Newton playing NCAA 25, I guess, was beating an Alabama fan senseless in the game. And that Alabama fan started dropping racial slurs and cussing and then logged off the game. Cam, for some reason, was playing South Carolina.
Playing as South Carolina.
Yeah, but he was South Carolina. The other guy was Alabama because he was a Bama fan.
Yeah.
And, of course, Cam went to ultimately Auburn, leading them to a national championship.
And Florida. So two
he
SEC
started
schools.
at Florida, yes. But he's playing South Carolina for some reason. And what was funny is when the guy logged off, Cam it was hilarious what he said. We got it? Yeah.
That boy man! That boy man! That boy man! That boy man!
We got to pull that boy mad and use that as a drop in the future. That boy mad.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Not cool what the guy said.
No.
And you could find that by looking around online. Although I will say it's extremely in poor taste what the guy was saying. So they've gotten 2 games in the Little League Softball World Series. They're waiting to try to get Canada and Mexico in, and Arizona and the Philippines in a major holding pattern right now because of the weather. Got a great group of guests remainder of the week. We're trying to work things out with Brian Mull for tomorrow, talk about the Wyndham Championship played at Sedgefield. It starts on Thursday, weather permitting. And AEW superstar Chris Statlander will be on the show with us tomorrow. They have Dynamite on TBS tomorrow night at 8 o'clock in Winston-Salem. And Cole Barnhill, ECU Media Relations, will be with us. He's got a new book that's coming out in October. You can do the pre-orders now. We'll tell you about how to do that. Cole will be with us on Thursday. The book, An Appalachian Nightmare. So I'm looking forward to having Cole in the studio for that. So that's about it. Pilk, I'm excited about we had some good meetings today to finalize a lot of the details and finer points for our football coverage, ECU and beyond this year. Got our first Panthers preseason game on our sister station, Talk 103.7 WTIB, on Thursday night starting at 7 o'clock. We'll have radio coverage for you.
Yeah, kickoff's at 7. I think the radio starts at 6, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think we're picking it up at 7. That's what I was told.
Okay. If we're picking up any time, it'd be 6:30. Depends.
Well, you might need to chime in on the email, young man.
I might need to. We will see.
Thanks to Jenny Dalton-Hill. She was great. And thanks to Pilk. Wonderful job as always. Tomorrow, again, Brian Mull, Chris Statlander from AEW. Well, not from AEW. And we will see you then. In the morning on Talk of the Town as well. Henry's back, so I won't be hosting. I don't have to get up quite as early. Well, I still do. And, of course, back here for the Patrick Johnson Show tomorrow.